October 20th, 2022. Marcus Giavanni here. Marcus Giavanni to Mayor Michael Hancock replaces Kristin Bronson appoints Kerry Tipper. The dog you hear in the background, that's 5 months old. Lila, Rottweiler. She replaced Zion, who died, who was a Rottweiler named Zion, in June 2020. It was the year of death. Anyways, I received a letter from an assistant attorney on September 14th, but it was the actions that I did during that day, from the time the letter was sent at 7 p.m. and the junior varsity, they're just juniors in regards to the people that they're appointing in the city attorney's office and what they're doing to families. So I get this letter, and I responded back within the 15 days, which was September 29th. And based on these algorithms that I did before I wrote the letter and what I should do, I went to Google crystalball.com, and then I went to another platform we have. It's a supercomputer, and it's not in location here in the United States. But with that said, anyways, the algorithms told me to attach to the email my email response, because that's what the assistant attorney, I won't mention her name because she's completely irrelevant, but she's going to try to make herself relevant, because this is what they do. They just stay on the talking points. No matter what you say, they keep saying the same thing, and you're like scratching your head. Is there anybody you listening to? You guys keep repeating the same shit over and over and over again. And when you got the judges and you got the prosecutors and everybody's in your pocket, you tend to win. Well, now in the digital world, that don't work. And so we need all these people to come out of the closet. So what I did was I BCC'd Michael Hancock, or I actually BCC'd Kristin Bronson, Kerry Tipper, and Mayor Michael Hancock, and a few others. And then I sent the email to a few others. And all this content's in the cloud. So no matter what happens, all my content can be retrieved from another computer offsite, stored somewhere that no one can touch. And it had to get done because these people have been manipulating. When you understand what Spear was all about, he was a Democrat who turned non-political. He saved Denver, and then someone came in 1963 from the Denver Democrat Party, and they manipulated the content to be where we're non-partisan. They took non-political, used non-partisan, and then said it was ballot only, and that candidates can be party affiliated. That is a lie. 100% lie, and it's been going on for 60 years. It's written on the governance page of the University of Denver under the direction of Stephanie O'Malley, the woman I sued in 2011, Webb and Stuhl. The firm is no longer. They were the most honorable men I ever met. I had no idea Joe Webb of Webb and Stuhl, which is the law firm, is disbanded. All because they wanted to help Denver and to fight for their right to petition. And you got the coward medias like Denver Gazette, and just it goes on. The list is so small, it'd fill up 10 pages of the most corrupt media that we have. And I'm going to give you a scenario what's coming for these cats. You heard me? Are you listening? Is this what I do for a living? While you blows keep going and trying to manipulate, trying to stay in the party, I'm here to be the foddy cop. Then I don't care. I don't care. But you're going to care, because you guys have lived a life of pure bullshit, humble bragging, sniffing each other's souls. So the sniff party's over because now all of you are identified with shit on your face by artificial intelligence. And every time you guys talk, content or individuals or entities that can actually do what you're claiming to do, that you've stole by reading other people's content, acting like you guys can control everything through denvergov.org, which is now going to be heading backwards because of their ignorance, unwillingness to learn the new things of the digital world. And when Hancock says we're Silicon Mountain, he's not Silicon Mountain. Denver's not Silicon Mountain. They're the city of decay. So Hancock and Hickenlooper and what they do and how it gets indexed, see, this is all new stuff. And so when we're not talking about it and the media's not talking about it, but they are in other countries, because they don't air their dirty laundry, they realize this is nowhere to go. And we're just now getting that memo as a country that's divided worse than I've ever seen in my entire life. And the 18-year-olds in Denver, 28-year-olds, and the 38-year-olds, they've been lied to since they were 8 years old. Since 2011, they're older now. And now we have 4 elections later, the new 18-year-olds. And they were 8 years old. Well, today they're tree planted. And this is how these trees get planted of we're not, that everything's about inequity. All these words that they're using are now negative keywords. They need to ask their information technology folks what a negative keyword is, and can people write content? Yes, people can write content because I'm doing it. It's called object-oriented programming. If a guy comes out, a candidate, like do hashtag believe Ian, he's my model. This guy's he's been on my show. He's taken a lot of things that I say that on what I do, and he's taken it. Like the voice of the unheard. I own the voiceoftheunheard.com. I knew, and what they don't understand is that in 2011 through 2015, I came up with every different scenario that a candidate could talk about, the top 10 things. I use something that these people have to hire people to tell, and so everything gets lost in translation. Nothing gets lost in translation with me. It goes from mind to the internet, using artificial intelligence, knowing how to program conversations that we believe that are going to happen in the future by a group of people that have been identified as democracy sluts. We have a video game called Democracy Sluts. It's already banned in 36 countries. I'm hearing we're at 30. It's going to be 38. Just by people talking, you know. It's an immersive video game. It will be the most violent video game. When you get shot in the head, you will feel it. You will feel it. Okay? And as soon as you take that off, as soon as you take off the suit, or as soon as you unplug from the game, everything, it'd be like you don't even know. The pain, everything gone instantly. You're just like, wow, what happened to me? I got shot in the head. I saw it all. I saw it in real time. Yeah, but that's immersive. So when people talk about meta and all this stuff, it's so discombobulated, everything, baited. And so we're here to make it straight. My allegiance is only to the citizens of Denver, and the architect of the city beautiful, Honorable Mayor Robert W. Spear, a former Democrat who knew what a partisanship government would look like, and he made it so that I am the only citizens candidate. See, I don't want to say that none of this, but what I can do now is say these words that these people have been saying, and I'll infiltrate their content now, because that's how I wrote it. Because artificial intelligence, if a guy says, yeah, I saved 10 people's lives, well, it's easy to say it. Can you prove it? Leslie Herod, let's take a look at her. She's running for a state lawmaker who's passed laws, who got elected only because she's a woman, only because she's black and only because she's a lesbian. No other reason. Because she served as in District 8, which she destroyed that too. All because she was a woman and black and a lesbian. Which in my world, I don't care, man. If I'm stranded on the side of the street and Leslie Herod's the only person there to save me, she wouldn't in the first place. I don't believe she has saved anyone in her whole entire life. And this is how we can eliminate that kind of bullshit. Because I'm Central American Indian, Iberian, West Nigerian Jew. I don't want any job because I'm an Indian, Puerto Rican, Puerto Rican Taino Indian. Look it up. We're supposed to be extinct. They didn't think about those experts with the PhDs back in the 60s and 70s to ever think about DNA. Those professors that come out and all those PhD guys, they're worthless. It just hasn't caught up to them yet. And when it does, it's just like overnight. They'll be like, oh, what happened? You're asleep at the wheel, dude. You think that your PhD is going to last you forever, especially in the technology world, digital world, meta world, technology world? What world do you want? And the smartest people in other countries are going to take those spots. And and that's where China's going right now. China and Russia. They're trying to get us into a war really, really quick. And I don't think that because we don't teach people about nuclear war, like I got taught in school, none of these kids know what to do in case we get hit with a nuclear blast. None of them. Because they don't want any of them to know. They want it to be disarray so they can come and start another nonprofit bullshit organization so they can say they're going to help these people and no one gets fucking help in Denver. Are you that fucking stupid, people? Come on, man. Tell me. Because what's coming? The digital cock that's coming to replace Hancock is going to fuck you people up to a means you don't even know. Good news is you won't feel it physically. Like, you're not going to get hurt. No one's coming after you. In the digital world, you're going to be choked out digitally. A rear naked choke. When you think about how does an artificial intelligence know what a rear naked choke is? Well, I told it. I told it. I laid out its pattern. I laid out the patterns. I laid out the layers that it needs to identify these node connections or identifiers that we have. And we use their voice as the new digital voice latent print or fingerprint for those that don't know what a latent print is. Ask your law enforcement officer. Well, we can create and embed these voice latent prints to catch anybody, anywhere in the world. That's Denver. That's Colorado. Our days of snooping dirt, our days of just being poor and talking poor and homeless and destroying people's properties, and they're willing to destroy their property. Democrats, because you know why? The ones that are voting for it don't have property. And so they put all these Democrat signs in their yard and they're just telling everybody who they are, where they live, and what they're doing. I'll never put a yard sign in my yard, man. I am anti-yard sign all the way. And the signs I did have where people did want to put yard signs on, and then the people were stealing them and all that, and just, okay, I get the game. But see what happened, folks. This is how stupid these people are. I put a yard sign in a person's neighborhood, right? Someone took that sign, right? Chances are they had a cell phone on them. And that information is all in the cloud. I am a content cloud extractor. Data. And it takes a subpoena to get the actual, but I can go and write this kind of stuff and get a visual so a judge can say, yeah, I think there's enough probable. This is the best digital forensic evidence I've ever seen, Giovanni, and I guess we're going to give you that subpoena so we can see if the rest of this information you are showing us holds true. And these are the pattern matches. It will hold true, believe me, folks, because it's where we're at right now. Look at my dashboard. My dashboard tells me what's missing. It tells me so I can show other people that are intelligence can understand that the story of Denver Gazette, not getting to the root of what happened. Why all of a sudden the change? Missing Marcus Giavanni. Every one of them. And it even gets deeper, folks. And then you get Colorado politics. They're a nonprofit. They lean. How can you be nonprofit if you lean and support one party? This is what the new IRS agent's coming for. Because when you think about like the Tide, some of these big groups are with $100 millions. They're coming for that money, man. Them Democrats need that money, and then the Republicans are just going to keep doing what the Democrats would do because they realize, okay, now we see. And they're going to bring the oil prices down. They're going to bring everything, stabilize us again, and everybody will get comfortable. And then 2 years, the Democrats will come back because they did something to foil. You can't foil people in order to get power, people. In the world of digital technology and artificial intelligence, it will never happen. It can't, and it won't. So you keep looking at this. Colorado politics. Tipper replaces Jim Fisher. Become deputy finance director in Miami-Dade. See how they take a Democrat? James Fisher's a Democrat because Miami-Dade is a Democrat city. And you see all the problems they have. But they're able to just take the murder. Nothing gets done. I lived there. My daughter was born there. That's what the connection is, folks. So you say, well, what's your connection to Miami-Dade? My daughter was born there. So when you're able to show a judge the different connections you have within a story and how artificial intelligence is able to bring this up so judges can look at what's going on and get a good picture of what's going on in the real world of all the people that are on this page. These are the sources. These are the ones that are inside the Wikipedia, that garbage political organization that is totally swings to the left and all their people are left. And when I'm mayor, when we get elected, we're going for money, folks. We're going to create residual income so that the people that are paid their dues and they're ready they're going to live here in Denver, they're going to be taken care of. That's my promise, man, because I'm old now. I'm 62. I'm going to be 63. I'm fucking old now. And it's like, wow, what it's going to be like to be 80. Go ask an 80-year-old. I talk to them. I'm not afraid to go up and talk to them. And they're like, I'm worried about my grandkids. I'm a Democrat. I never seen anything go like this. I don't even know. Well, did you know that we're a Spear Amendment? Yeah, but I thought they changed that. What do you mean changed that? Yeah, didn't they vote it out or something? No, it's all bullshit. So we can pass all the laws and all the bills and all the amendments we want, but when it comes down to making them work, to enacting them, to flipping that switch, it never gets done. Just drive around the city, folks. Do you want to come to a city like that? January, it stops. Everything's going to go really it's going to, but in the people's lives that are node connected to the bullshit story, their story will never change. It'll be the same. And so what happens is when they wake up on January 1 and they all say, hey, what happened? Look at here. Replaces. Missy, Marcus Giavanni, replaces. You know what that means? When I'm mayor, I'm replacing Mayor Hancock, and I'm going to replace Kerry. Right? Because I'm elected. Hancock's gone. He's going to be gone anyway, but he's still getting replaced. And Kerry, and when I'm mayor, she's going to be replaced because we're not hiring people that live in another city so they can take their paychecks and go spend their money in another city and paying their property taxes as they destroy the property taxes of local Denverites. I mean, are we that fucking stupid, folks? I don't even own property here. That's why. No way, man. I got taught a long time ago. Don't fall in love with property. These people will stay in the property and for the point of, I've been here for 40 years. You ain't gonna get me to move. You're broke. You're sitting on $1 million fucking dollars in real estate value. You voted to bring low cost housing into your neighborhood. Now your property's worth $500,000. You should have took the $1 million. See if they had people like we're gonna do. Is we're gonna have life coaches. And I'm saying this because watch, everybody's gonna start saying, and I want them to. I want those trolls, those other candidates running for mayor. They're worthless. Every single one of them when it comes to being a mayor for Denver. And some of them guys, they're not worthless in what they do in their circles. And see, for me, those are people that we need to bring into my administration to take what values and what the experiences they had in their life and put them to work. Like Hancock gives, whatever happened to that Chris dude? Remember Chris? He got a $150,000 job, plus he's getting $94,000 in pension. I mean, how much fucking money do these people need to make from you people? See, this is what's called inequity. They're taking the money from you all, giving it to all them, while they tell all of us that we're bad and that if you're not a Democrat, we can't help you, but we can't tell you that, but we just show you by our actions. Well, now all their actions, all their words have now been identified instantly many, many years ago. And so what we're doing is following the paper trail. So when I added the people in reverse to how it's written here, it should be because I really emailed the assistant attorney. I BCC'd Kristin Bronson, then Terry, then Mayor Hancock. And so I also emailed someone else on that BCC. And that was the one I got the best response from. And now it's game on. And now they're gonna watch to see what these people do from here on out. But I'm telling Kerry, just like I told Elizabeth Lay and Monica Jackson, I'm gonna be mayor, and when I do, I'm coming. And I don't need to kick a door down. I don't need to jump through a window to get in. Because the citizens have your keys in their pockets now. And when those keys are in the citizens' pockets, like Mayor Robert W. Spear wanted, envisioned, and created, and it's all been turned, a city of beautiful has been turned into the city of shit. And you can either believe what I say or you can believe what you see with me. And Mayor Hancock and all these bloviated, humble, bragging bitches that have been at the life party for the last 60 years. Y'all can't bullshit your actions. And I'm sorry you got this. Nothing personal, but it's the same way you treated me. Now you're going to be treated. The good news is there are places for people that want to repent and renounce their party and come back to Denver and join us all. Because we cannot be all Denver like Mayor Hancock's been promising for 20 years, and you ignore one citizen. It only takes one in the digital world. Unfortunately, there's more than one. Families have been destroyed by these people in their Denver Health and Human Services. That's the most corrupt organization in the whole. And then it has its prosecutor and its judge and everybody wrapped into one. The henchman is Karen Hubler, the epitome of an amoeba. And all the cases she's worked on, and all the lawyers that I've talked to, and I've recorded on the phone that said they didn't want their cases jeopardized. And I had Block and Chapeau, Joe Block. I can tell that man's going to be judged by the judge that he's been fucking so many families up and lying to people about being a family's rights lawyer. They are a garbage attorney law firm. The woman that ran, who was my lawyer, I had a little bit of conversation with Joe watching CNN in their office. I knew right then when I got to their office and I saw CNN playing in their office, I knew I was in a really bad place. And all that woman lawyer, their partner now, could tell me is you better plan on bringing a toothbrush. You better plan on bringing a toothbrush. Why? Am I going to jail? Are you all that going to corrupt me and put me in jail? Because I don't care, man. I've been in jail for a long time, man. Since 1992, I've been in jail. And I go from one fucked up law enforcement officer to the next city official, to the whole city and county of Denver. And they all got doo-doo on their tips of their noses, and they've all been identified, and I am going to enjoy placing them into the dark web. Just like they did us for the last 60 years. It's coming for them. They're going to end up losing all artificial intelligence, folks. When it comes after you, it's the ultimate in social gulag, man. Socialgulag.com. Go there. It's the ultimate. It will take your money. It will take all your digital. It will come. And when you hear them boots marching, they're not the mortal boots. They're digital boots. And these digital boots are coming, are going to be walking all over these people like they have created their wealth and all their property buying and all their tips to other people. And see, for us, there's some people that want to go after them. You know, why waste time? You know it's doo-doo. It smells like doo-doo. Bag it, tie it, and throw it in the garbage. The digital garbage. And that's what I built for the last 12 years. And I've indexed every, and I'm not talking about, one day here, no. I have a full log of 12 years of over 40 hours of work. And some of that work could be done in 3 days, folks. And then I'll do it again in 3 days, and I'll do it again in 3 days. But I'm just giving you a number where people can try to wrap their minds around why I did recording 2 albums. I did Circus of a Lifetime. Now I'm doing another project. Why we produced 3 music videos. We produced Gonna Go to the Super Bowl. And then Kobe Bryant passed away on Monday the 26th. I'll never forget that. And we came out on the 27th. Gonna go to the Super Bowl. Google search it. You'll see. We created a platform, an executive office, so that we can promote going to the Super Bowl. We cover the back end storylines, the people that make it all happen, why everybody talks about the footballs and everything. We just go into the fans, the people on the outside that can't buy the tickets, that where all the parties are, and everybody's having a good time watching the TV, listening to it either on the radio or watching it on TV, and they got big screens out there. And that's what we do. And we got to cover the Snoop Dogg event when he opened up his store. But you see how I talk? Snore? It's just stuff that comes out. I can't control that. And I've been made fun of that when I was in school. I'd say some pretty goofy stuff. Even I'd chuckle, And then people weren't laughing at me. And I never took it at that. And I'd have friends, I'd say, why'd you guys laugh at me? We didn't laugh, dude, it was funny. We're not laughing at you. We're just laughing with you. You're like a comedian. And I wasn't trying to be a comedian, but it was funny because I didn't try. It was natural. And so, all my buddies, when growing up in high school, I had 4,000 students. They were the baddest dudes in the school. I mean, tough. Mark Wimberly, the Anderson brothers, they were all boxers. They were friends with my brother. My brother was a black belt. And see, he never told anybody. I wasn't allowed to. I told one person, my brother kicked my ass. He slapped me around. And he's an Apache Indian, 100%. And when he got drunk, I was the only one that could put him in his place. I can put drunks in his place. When I'm not drunk, which I don't get drunk, but I dealt with drunks in all my bars. When we opened up Joe's Buffet on Santa Fe Arts District, trying to get it after the elections, trying to get through the bullshit the family courts had to try to destroy me with. I'm going to go back to that conversation. Karen Hubler, when I told all them in May of 2011, if I was elected in May, 2nd, I think the election date was. Then I was going to start an investigation, and I was going to put them in jail. In sometime during that time period, because I would say that back. I was saying that since 2007, folks. When I first went against Karen Hubler in court, and I made her look bad when the judge thought I was the attorney because of the suit I was wearing. And I was only wearing a suit because the judge told my parents told me when you go up in front of the judge. My dad was a white man. He was Apache, my brother. We were all Apache folks. That's why I did that. My dad said, "Yep, we're all." He goes, "I'm Irishman, but I'm also an Apache." And my dad studied that whole thing, man. He even got the language down. We never told nobody. Anyways, but you could see where we're going with this. Denver is all about Denver citizens, 100%. I built content. I programmed some virtual machines. They're going to put Denver on the right track. And I didn't need to be mayor. I didn't need to have Mayor Hancock come to my rescue when he didn't really give a fuck about me. One fucking bit. And so what Hancock doesn't understand is with the future. Him and his people, they don't have no way, no how to look into a googlecrystalball.com, or they have no wizard. They can go to wizardknowsalltellsall.com. They have no supercomputer. All they do is bloviate about being the first whatever it is, black, first Latino, but never the first white, never the first Asian, never the first gray person, because never the first heterosexual, never the first fucking just a man, never just a fucking woman. It's all about keywords and phrases that I've now Google transformed into content that every time they talk, those that can build what they claim will start showing up. And you're going to start seeing countries from other countries moving in our local searches. So what happens is Denver's going to bury itself in the world because what they're claiming they can do, they're doing it in Africa. Right now, Africa politicians, folks, they're the highest ranking of all politicians. Like if you Google search 2023 president or mayor, most of it's Africa. Because they've been through the apartheid. They've been through it all, man. Their people are the ones that sold the slaves. Those black men sold the slaves to the Spaniards and to the white people. And we all want to act like, oh, we want to give them representation. Well, you better go to Africa. Because it was those black people that did it. And white people. There was mixed, that's the way it was. And think about it. I'm Central American Indian, Iberian, West Nigerian, Jew. My family got around. They had a appetite for color. You know what I mean? And then I was adopted in a very strict Irish Roman Catholic Republican military family. My dad was a staff sergeant. He was raised in Brooklyn, New York. He went to New York University. My dad said I was a Brooklyn boy. And it was so weird because when my dad would go talk to people, they'd hear the New York accent my dad had. But he did it eloquently. He didn't have that real New York slur. You get in Manhattan and Long Island and New Jersey, woo! And so that's where we hung out during the summers if we weren't hanging out in Catalina Island. And it's weird because, when I go to my mom and dad's death, where they're buried, like in Legacy and something, the people that they talked to built that are the people that were took over the second part. My parents were married for 25 years. They got a divorce. And so all the new people moved in, and then we got kicked out because, we were adopted, so it didn't really matter. And so the real kids of the new mom came in and controlled everything. They got everything. We didn't get shit. They got my parents' house. They got everything. And that lady was sleeping in my mom's bed. That's what pissed my brother David off. And that's when him and my dad had the falling out came. I mean, it was due because my brother's drinking problem, but he didn't like that. My dad's like, hey, why don't you like Carol? He said, really? You're gonna ask me that, Dad? You don't want the truth. You can't handle the truth. I heard him say that before they even, way before what's his name said it. My favorite actor. He almost hit me with his car. I was walking in, I was just parked, I just had valet parked my Corvette at the Roxy and at the Rainbow, excuse me. I was going into the Roxy in the private bar. I got, so people treated me like a king, man. You think about the bad things, but there's a lot of good things that happen to me. But I'm trying to protect those that have bad things happen to you by employees of a city or a government in Denver, and their judges, and they're out of control. Not all the judges. I'm just talking about Magistrate Karen Hubler. There's a few other judges, but I'm not at liberty to say. Judges clean up their own stuff. I cannot. Karen Hubler. The only reason why she's my judge. She was ex. Think about it. She was my ex's attorney. She got upset. She's told a couple of lawyers that I was the epitome of slippery. Everything she was accusing me, she was actually doing. That's what people do. And there's so many that I have. You would think, oh man, why does this guy have so many people that do that to him? But when I tell you folks a lot, it is a lot. And the reason why is when people meet me, they like me. I'm a go getter. I'm a defender. I'm a protector. I'm a helper. But I don't tell people that. When people need something, they call me. When they want something, they call the other guy. And so during my journeys through life, I meet people, especially women, that take advantage of my naivete. And they somehow I take their need as face value when it's really something they want. And when a person goes to somebody really acting like they need, but it's really want, when you try to break away from that person, think about what that person does to you. Out of all the people, what do they do to you? They try to destroy you. That's because they know they'll never find a meal ticket. They'll never find a person that'll come to their beck and call no matter what happens in their life. I have friends that call me to fix plumbing, to fix everything I can fix. I don't do electrical. I stuck my finger or a fork in the light socket, and I think that's what kind of gave me some things that I don't quite understand, and that I need to speak to other people that are in the medium so I can show them certain stuff that my parents told me not to do when I was little. And if I was in my family, they would have been able to see that I had these other things I can do, and they would have sent me to whatever it is that we would do. But it's not the way it. We can surmise what should have, could have, would have happened. I can tell you if my mother was a Democrat, I wouldn't be here. And I think about all the lives I've saved. Wow. I've only got one award. I don't do it to get awards, but I've saved a lot of lives, and I've lost a lot of lives, meaning I wasn't there to save them. You know, a cat named Smurf, um, down in Osage, block 10th and Osage. I had a lot of bangers working for me in the Santa Fe Arts District when they bullshitted us saying they were gonna fix the streets and rebuild. And I was meeting architects. They thought they were all going to get the bid, and they took the money. And arts and venues, another corrupt group of people. It's all administrators, folks, and they're all Democrats. It's all ran by the same people. And this is where artificial intelligence comes in, because it was taught the law. It was taught the Spear Amendment. And what these folks didn't know back in 1963, they don't understand what digital RNA DNA is. And I'm one of the founders of creating content that is now triggered by conversations. And now we can pattern match into all the videos and images and everything they've ever said. And we don't have to go read it. We don't have to go find it. All we got to do is write about it. And if we're close, we'll hit it. Like when you go and you Google search Marcus Giavanni, the mayor, you watch what happens. And we're not even January 1. And so all the media, I'm telling them all, they don't understand. ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, all the local folks, they've been pushing a lie for a very 60 years. They know what the law is. They know it better than anybody. If they don't, they should have. And if they don't, then they deserve what's coming, and it's coming hard. It goes after the general sales managers. It goes after the presidents, the CEO of the local networks, and then when the local guys, when they're parent and their organizations that are in other cities that are either partisan elections, most of them are, then they start they'll start losing their money. They start losing their clout. And when China flips that switch, the final switch of social credit system scores and rankings, we own social credit system scores and rankings.com. And I'm just trying to tell Mayor Hancock, look, brother, you think that's a good one, Giovanni. Remember that? You haven't seen nothing, Mayor. And the fact that your head is so far up your ass lends me to believe that you are everything that artificial intelligence has indexed you officially to be. And your quick whiz, that childish demur and trying to be in a sophisticated suit is just not you, Mayor. And I knew that. Everybody saw it, even Debbie Ortega. And what is Debbie Ortega going to do after 28 years? She's collecting 3 pinches, trying to be that one girl that's real. She's just a shy Latina. Believe me, folks. Believe me, that's a little Tasmanian right there. Latinas that are real quiet, they're the ones that you got to worry about. But see, I don't need to worry about her because I already indexed her. Especially when we were putting chairs away. She saw. And I knew she was going to run for mayor. People were telling me that day they wanted her to run for mayor. Until they met me. And she saw that too. They saw those women walk up to me and go, wow, I never heard of you before. Wow, I never seen anybody stand up to Hancock before. I'm voting for you. And as I look over, I see Hancock looking at me with his 2 security guys. And what would be neat is for me and those 2 security guys that he has, I think we should do some MMA. Raise some money for some kids, raise some money for some elderly, raise some money to get our sidewalks fixed. They're going to pass an amendment. Another group, another nonpartisan group to get more money. They're never going to pass it because they realize that they keep fighting it. They're going to keep getting donations, and this is how it works, and nothing gets fixed. And yet we're all pushing baby carts and shoveling snow where your blade hits that edge of that, and the handle gets shoved up into your ribs when you're flowing. Because you got to flow when you're shoveling the snow, because if you're just doing one shovel at a time, and that's what happens when you see people doing one little shoveling at a time where they're not just gliding it through, that's because their sidewalks aren't straight. Because when you got a straight sidewalk, you should be able to glide from one end of your property to the next. Within 3 sweeps, you're done, clean. You don't have to scoop nothing. Just like the snowplow guys. Well, we can call Kelly. See, that's what Kelly would be good for. Because she's outdated. She was a snowplow driver. First woman snowplow driver. God damn, give that girl a cigar. When are we going to stop buying this bullshit from these loser people? Fuck. Jesus. God almighty. Are you kidding me? Now artificial intelligence is coming. That's how you know there's a God. Because God gave us free will to do whatever the fuck we want to do. Say whatever we want to say in our country. Not in other countries. And that's when you know that God's like, wow, man, I'm going to need to... Let's see if somebody's smart enough to figure it out. I can't intervene. I can't do it. Here I am, folks. Believe it or not. You know, my uncle was Dr. Bruce Anthony. He ran the Cartwright school districts in Phoenix, Arizona in the 60s, 70s. Got a church in Wichita. But you know, so my parents came from both sides came from really good stock, man. And I wish my mom graduated high school when she was 14. She was taking care of one of her aunties, and she got the mumps, and she became sterile. And so my mom had a beautiful body and beautiful eyes, and she was a strawberry blonde, and she men liked her. They sure did, man. They sure liked her. And then I'd hear the women that didn't like her because they were jealous. They were jealous that she had 7 kids. It didn't just start with 7 kids. I mean, it started when she adopted David, her second kid. He was an Apache Indian. And people called him a chimpanzee. They called him a monkey. They called him some bad names, folks. I just things he told me, pictures I've seen, and I just, you know, I love my brother, man. He went against Mark Spitz in the '72 Olympic time trials for the 100-meter butterfly. They tried to make him the next Jim Thorpe. They pressured him and pressured him, and then he met a friend in high school named Brian D. And my brother started drinking, using drugs, and the rest is history. He almost killed somebody in a car accident, and he never recovered from that. He just never recovered. But the things I've seen in my life is what gives me the meta experiences to write meta tags to match what I say to what I can do. Where you have these people now that are been manipulating their positions based off talk, based off promises of eradication, and yet when I stand before a judge and I show them the digital forensic evidence against these folks and how it now on my dashboard it's not available on other people's dashboards because they don't do what I do. How do you lie? If I was a judge, I'd be like, you know, Denver Post, how come Marcus Giavanni's name's missing out of this storyline? Then you go to the next one, CBS. See the trail? You can't bullshit that no more. And that's what these people are doing. So what happens is, because they're democracy sluts, because they're suppressing, they're keeping from, whatever, they're not asking the right questions. See, no one asked. Well, why is she fired? So the judge will say, Giovanni, do you have those emails you sent these people like you said? And yep, here it is. And what was discussed in these emails? Here it is. The judge, like judges that I've talked to, okay? Like I have some really good team members, folks, just because you don't know who they are. And in time, we will enact certain things that we need to enact. But right now, we need everybody to come out of the closet. This is the waiting game. Let them rats come out of the fucking holes, man. Once they've come out of their holes and GPS and the cell tower nabs them, now all we have to do is extract the content of everybody else that was in their room. And how do we do that? Because it's done by crosstalk indexing. Learn something, folks. Denver's about to hit the fucking dark web, or it's going to be the masters of the IoT for the rest of the world to follow. And we're going to do that through cityandcountyofdenver.us. Folks, I got here by the sweat off my ass, the sweat off my brow, the sweat off my back, my balls. And I ain't wearing Lumi and I still smell good. That's because I clean. I take a shower. See? I can guarantee you the people that start a Lumi, those are probably all socialist people. And when I say that, because who would go on smelling, what person would go on TV telling people of all the crotches she smelled? And so that tells me those are her patients. So she basically telling the whole world that she developed this up because of all her patients' crotches she smelled over the years. I don't know how I got up into that, but This is what happens with the digital world. But there's no Lumi. You're caught. And you're going to get a rear naked choke by artificial intelligence while it takes all your money, gives it to the IRS, gives the other information to other law enforcement that just pops up on their screen when they're investigating like-mattered, pattern-matched, like-minded crimes. And this is what I'm going to teach our law enforcement officers to do so that they can teach and season what I can do better. Why? Because they're policemen. I'm not a policeman. I'm just a data guy. And right now, that's what Denver needs is a data man that can come in, and I already built it. cityandcountyofdenver.com. Hashtag City and County of Denver. Google search it. At the handle City and County of Denver. Google search it. This has all been a lot of years. I mean, you're talking about a lot of years, 60 years of manipulating content and now it's over. And it's slowly sucking them dry because why? We need them to come out of the closet. We need all those administrators and all these ABC, CBS News, all the media, the Westword, the Colorado Sun, the Colorado Politics, the Denverites, the Colorado Politics, in different languages, and all these other Denver Gazette, the Gazette, Denver Post. Now it's Colorado Politics for Denverites News, a new publication, hard copy and digital. The people that are bought it, they're going to be dumping $10 million into this. The game over. They're also going to be backing Durango Dank magazine. It's going to be the best fucking entertainment magazine around, all based on marijuana and what we have to do to protect our kids from overindulging. You overindulge in high sugar, guess what? You get diabetes. And if you don't get diabetes, you'll pass it on to your kids. And when the kid's born, it has diabetes because it's in the DNA that you've been eating your body, and you passed it on through your sperm to a woman, and that's how it works. Or the woman's got it because she's been eating sugar and she had a baby, and now the baby's hooked up on sugar. Same with heroin. So when you think about the effects of drugs and food in regards to children's birth, and people want to fight for abortions, and to me that's between a doctor and I don't want to know about it. If you want to kill a baby that's 9 months old because you wanted a boy and it's a girl, and everything that you built was a woman because you didn't want to know and it was born, so you want to kill the baby, you don't want the baby. Hospitals have just an oath to put that baby into proper care, but they're not. They get put in the worst foster cares because they look at who the baby is and where they come from, so they index it. They Dewey Decibel the baby. Like with me, I was Dewey Decibel. I got a white name. My birth certificate said I have white birth parents, and so I look like a really good family. I grew up in a really good family. My real name ain't Giovanni. Fuck. I've heard that too. I don't know where the guy got it, but I just know that's what I've been told, but it's different in code, and one day I'll tell everybody because I'll find out the truth myself. But my real family didn't want nothing to do with me. My aunts, my uncles, that's because I was hidden. They don't know about me. That's the sin of a Catholic when they don't kill the baby and they go push it off. That baby grows up and they have wants and needs. There's certain things that happen to them growing up that wants them to understand. Well, what happened to my mom and dad? Do I have uncles? Do I have a real mom and dad? Do I have a real grandma and grandpa? Do I have a real auntie, uncles? Or is the white family just a big lie? The white family's gone because both parents are dead. And now I'm a double orphan. How do you get to be that? Who gets to be a double orphan? I was an orphan, folks. I was put up for adoption. Roman Catholic charities. Roman Catholic charities. There's a difference. But most people don't know history, and I'm still underneath that realm. That realm is deep. And they know. They know what's coming. They're just waiting so they can figure everything out before the world does, because that's what they have to in order to explain to Catholics who I am. And so I know that's pretty deep stuff, folks, but this is a deep time for Denver, and you have to think about the outsider and all the insiders that have been padding their pocketbooks and nothing getting fixed, and they all have the bloviated parties, and they all have shit on their nose now. And now artificial intelligence knows what it looks like on their tips of their noses, and we don't, because we can't see it. But that's where object-oriented programming comes in, because we can find them, we can bag them, and dump that shit to the dark web. In the digital world, in the mortal world, they're going to be the same people, but they're going to find out that without having digital communications, they're pretty much done. Their careers are all over. And it's funny because Hancock makes $294,000 a year to be the decay mayor, and he's not even smart enough to see signs around him when things are failing to when he needs to bail. But Mayor Hancock doesn't know what bail means. He's never had to bail from anything. It's all been handed to him because of certain things that gone on in his life. He's been prepped for this. He's been prepped for the decay. And if you look at the neighborhood he grew up in, is exactly the neighborhood we're all growing up in now. That's 100% verified fact, Hancock. And there ain't nothing you're going to be able to do to shuck and jive, no Ray Lewis dance, no, not a fucking thing. You heard me? And it couldn't have happened to a better person, because you need a can of fucking humble brag and whip ass on you digitally, and you're about to get it. And it'll humble you, and it'll make you realize that you've been lying to the citizens, and now they know. And things are going to get really, really, really tight for Denver. Even with a mayor like me, it won't be. Because we'll have instant, everything changes. We have a new identity, a new leader who's actually a verified citizens candidate. And all the people that bloviated, when it's over, they're going to be like, they're done, their careers are over. And see, me, if they live in Denver, I don't know where any of these people live, because they don't post their phone numbers, they don't post their addresses, but there's always a missing link that will, folks, I can find it. And that's what we're going to teach judges. Judges are going to, in our Denver district courts, we're going to teach judges how to use digital forensic evidence. Why, in real time, while these people are talking, it's going to get scrubbed, and then content will be up on their screen, so a judge can now look at them. And then judges are going to have to be a little more super administrators. They're going to have to guide litigation, because lawyers have taken this. They're not, judges' responsibility is not to guide litigation, it's the lawyers. But now we have to have super administrators, because when lawyers take it off track, judges need to put it back on track. But how does a judge do that if they don't know all the facts of being the truth at the time that's being spoken? Well, I got that. I got that, folks. And so when judges realize the authority that they have in their location during that specific time, and how they will get all the content first because they're judges, they'll see content that I'll see it because I build it, but there are other IT people, prosecutors, judges, and other judges from other cities. They won't have this access. And that's what makes me different than all the other candidates. Because what I do is I'm a problem solver. I go to the source. I find out, okay, are we creating these poor people, or are we getting these poor people shipped in from the 2 million people that have crossed the border illegally, which now our DACA kids are being ignored. All the help that went to them are now they're on their own, and now they're going to concentrate on these other people and try to figure out how they're going to take care of them, because they're now going to take the money that they've been given to the citizens of Denver, to the DACA kids, and the ones that are legal. They're all getting their shit cut. and they're going to give it to these new people. These are their new foot soldiers. These people will do whatever these administrations will do, but they're not going to be able to finish it. And now the Republicans are going to have to figure out what to do. And a lot of Republicans, they don't really have any plans, folks. All they do is complain about what other people say about them, and they're always on the defensive, and they don't know how to stay on point with platforms that they don't have. And yet, we need an alternative. And so that's why we go back and forth every 2 years. But in this case, what the Democrats have caused with Hunter Biden and all the other things, we have to understand that our adversaries are watching us all. And if you're an adversary, okay, if you're China, and they have people that watch every one of our shows and they give a report on this, on everything that we do that's FCC regulated, anything that has to do with real estate, they're watching. They got avatars for every one of the people we're alive, folks. They're NBA people, just the people that follow NBA. They have enough people to watch every American. Are you guys listening to me? Their NBA fans alone are enough to monitor every single human. A double avatar. And they're able to put all that information that all those avatars of all those end users of the United States that are, we don't even have, some of them are kids, so you can't, that even shortens it even more. And these are the analytics we do for the art of war and digital preparedness for the onslaughts of war. And the people that are doing the war evaluation and analytics, they don't even know. And when they got answers and things, like guy like me or other guys like me, and they're not coming down saying, hey man, show us this, we've already lost.